NICO will start for Tennessee this season at some point. That and much more today. We are breaking down the safest quarterback rooms throughout the conference.
The fan base of Arkansas is just unbelievable.
Let's start off with the safest quarterback. He also happens to be the best, KJ Jefferson. Obviously, the backup situation with Jacoby Criswell, he's very unproven, but KJ is still just a one-man wrecking crew, and I feel it is a near lock that he is there from start to finish. At number 2, we have Devin Leary, the transfer from NC State. I think it is pretty clear that he is the guy there, and I hate that backup situation for the Wildcats. It very well could be the steepest drop-off from 1 to 2. Now, would Devin Leary be one of my top 3 quarterbacks in the SEC? Probably not, but it is clear that he is their best option, and it's not even close.
Go time, fellas. Time to attack all day.
Spencer Rattler's next up. Luke Doty is actually very experienced. It's his year 4 as a Gamecock backup, but there is a drop-off from him to Spencer Rattler. But is there really one? I mean, Spencer's QBR floats in the 60s, so overall, he could be a little overrated, but I still think it's going to take a lot for Luke Doty to win that job. So now we've reached Tier 2, the probably locked-in category, and these next two, it has more to do with the talent backing them up than their own talent alone. Jaden Daniels is probably one of the best quarterbacks in college football, but Garrett Nussmeier is no doubt a top 5 backup in the entire sport. We also saw what he did versus Georgia in the SEC championship game. Just something to monitor throughout the course of the season, knowing that Garrett Nussmeier is entering year 4 and has a ton of ability. We get to Georgia here with Carson Beck being the guy. There's so much help surrounding him. It's going to be hard for him to fail, but Brock Vandergrift and Gunnar Stockton are obviously very talented. It's pretty simple, though. Just throw the football to Brock Bowers, and you're probably going to be all right. We move along here. Mississippi State, Will Rogers, and Mike Wright. One of the strangest QB transfers was Mike Wright coming over from Vanderbilt, but I think Will Rogers is pretty safe there. I am a little worried about him in the new system, though. So now we hit this next tier of probably screwed. Either guy that you play, probably not going to do all too well. I do think people overreacted to Graham Mertz's spring game performance. We did a full film study, the Let's Mertz Cook one. Make sure you check it out. But it's either going to be him or Jack Miller. I do like Mizell, the true freshman receiver, but still, it's going to be a long year in Gainesville. And also for Vanderbilt, both of these quarterbacks have starters experience, but both probably aren't that good. Swan and Seals definitely punting on that quarterback room. So now we hit the next tier, wait and see. I still believe Missouri's Brady Cook will be the guy, but Sam Horn, who wears the oblong number 21 for a QB, 4-star prospect entering year 2. This is Jake Garcia, a transfer from Miami, but I still believe Brady Cook is going to be the guy, and he does give you a little bit as a dual threat. Now, I want to talk some Auburn. We did release a short yesterday on Holden Geriner, and I feel as if he has put himself right into the thick of this quarterback battle. There is a lot of smoke with PAYTON THORNE coming over from Michigan State. You see Geriner right there making some plays, and I feel just watching these clips, he throws as good a ball, if not better ball, than the other two. It's just the other two are older and more experienced. And, of course, Robbie Ashford gives you that dual threat capability, and athletically he is as good as it gets. So who is going to be the guy? I honestly have no idea, but I would guess it would be Thorne. Now we get to Texas A&M, Connor Wigman, and Max Johnson. We have done a lot of Texas A&M content recently with these two videos right here. And our next team, along with Texas A&M, will obviously be some popular sleeper picks going into next year, but who will actually be the quarterback? Connor Wigman and Max Johnson, about the same number of starts. Obviously, Johnson being a little older, but with all the momentum Wigman had last year beating LSU, it is going to be hard to see him not be the guy. But I could see it go either way.
I would prefer for it not to. I've always said that. I always think it's better to have your guy. But you don't want to risk choosing the wrong one. And so there are times, at least 2 I can remember, where we've gone into a season not knowing for sure. So we've used some games or first game to help gather the information to make the decision.
Special thanks to our friends at Underdog Fantasy. You saw all the info, but you can click the link down below. Type in that promo code Carter. You get a deposit match bonus with Underdog. So let's chat some Ole Miss Rebel football. Very interesting quarterback room, and that's why I wanted to kick off this final tier with it because, man, Jackson Dart, it is going to be hard to bench this guy, knowing that he knows Lane's system. He does have some dual threat ability. And I keep asking myself, why in the world would Spencer Sanders leave Oklahoma State to join this loaded room with Walker Howard in there as well? Maybe he's a guy. I expect that actually to be down the road, but still. And Austin Simmons, number 8 you see in the background, is also there. But between Jackson Dart and Spencer Sanders, I still think Spencer will be the guy, but it's going to be hard. I mean, Jackson Dart is a very, very solid player. Let me know in the comment section below, baby.
Yeah, you can watch it all day you want, man, all night you want. But when you actually in the offense, it's a whole different ball game. So just getting that tempo down is way different than just watching it from the stands and when you're actually in it.
Alrighty, so this will be the spiciest take from the video. Joe Milton will be replaced by NICO IAMAELEAVA. I butcher this all the time, and I hate that because I freaking love NICO probably more than anyone else. He was by far my number 1 quarterback in this last class, and it was absolutely loaded with Arch Manning, Dante Moore, so on and so on. I think he's ready to go year 1, and you heard him speaking just a minute ago, getting used to the tempo of Tennessee football. Now, it is interesting because both of them have super special arm strength. And obviously Joe Milton's arm might be the best we've ever seen in college football. But NICO has a liner himself. I mean, we did a spring game film study. You saw the thumbnail of it right there, where this guy just flat out has zip on the football like few others. And I think when you look at him, yeah, he's built like Kevin Durant. You normally don't think of someone like that being a big-armed quarterback. I just think he's better than Joe Milton. Now, Milton's probably a better runner, and he might be good enough in this offense, which is very quarterback-friendly, that he won't be benched. But I do think NICO gives him more upside, and I think Tennessee should make that move eventually. And by far, the most fascinating quarterback battle is Alabama because they are true national championship contenders with their blue chip ratio. Pretty much every single season they recruit in the top 5, but can they find a quarterback who can lead them to the promised land? I don't think the Alabama days of old, winning a national championship with Jay Coker, is something that is viable in the modern day. I feel like you do need a difference maker at quarterback. And obviously, of these 3, I would guess Jalen Milroe would be the starter. I do think Tyler Buckner transferring over into a loaded quarterback room kind of feels like Spencer Sanders, but at least Buckner has more than just 1 year of eligibility remaining. Still, I don't know which way this is going to go. Obviously, Ty Simpson, a former 5-star, does give you some real good dual threat ability. He's kind of the best of both worlds, if you ask me. But as of right now, because of the experience factor, I believe Jalen Milroe will be the guy, being that he's been at Alabama for a few seasons. So if you disagree with any of these, feel free to comment down below. And, of course, there's going to be some more content floating in your face. I would love for you to check it out, baby. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom! It's that season, baby. And tonight, we're doing meatballs. Let's go!